Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we are shooting something that was extremely requested, which is eye makeup for hooded eyes, and that is exactly what I want to show you. So the first thing that we are going to start with is that I'm going to conceal my whole eye. So you can do it both ways. Either you use an eye base, which is a primer for the eye makeup, or you can use a concealer. I prefer to use a concealer, but some people say that when they use a concealer it starts creasing. Now the secret to this is to use a heavy texture of a concealer and also set it straight away. Now I also like to use a much brighter concealer for my eye base than the usual concealer that I would apply around my face, just because I want the colors to stand out more. And with a brighter concealer, this is how I achieve that look. So right now I'm just applying concealer all over my both eyes, all over the eyelid. And I also need to always make sure that I get into the inner corner, because inner corner tends to be the darkest area around our whole eye. So second step is that I'm going to set two of my eyes with the concealer that I used, and I'm using for that HOODED Beauty translucent powder in shade Banana Bread. I'm just setting it with a powder in all the areas where I applied the concealer, just to make sure that it doesn't crease. So now starting with the eyeshadow that I'm going to be using. Today I'm using Zoeva Cocoa Blend palette, which is a very beautiful palette. This is the first time I'm going to be trying it out, but I love Zoeva Cosmetics. I love their brushes, more importantly, and I love their makeup as well. Their eyeshadow palettes are always super gorgeous, and this is one of them that I'm going to be using today. Now the first shade that I'm going to use is this shade right here, which is Substitute for Love, and this is going to go into my crease as my transition shade. So I'm just applying that shade with a more fluffy brush, and the brush that I'm using is also from Zoeva Cosmetics. This is 227 Soft Definer. And taking that shade, I'm just applying it on my crease. For people that have extremely hooded eyes, the way how you can find your crease where you should apply that transition shade is just feel your bone, and that is your crease. So going in with a fluffy brush, I'm just going in a round motion, extremely soft handed. The second shade that I'll be using is Freshly Toasted right here, and this is also going to go into my crease. This is just to add more dimension to the eye. And again, I'm using a fluffy brush, and this is also from Zoeva, from Spice of Life collection 221. Also, while I'm doing my crease shadow, I'm not going too close to my inner corner, because the whole side over here, the whole area over here, I want to keep it light and open, because that is what's going to help me to kind of lift my eye and give it a more open look. So again, the darker shade, I'm only focusing it on the outer corner of my eye. And I like to really take time with my shadow when I have time, obviously. And just to kind of keep building and building on top until I'm happy with the amount of color that I have on the eyes, and of course the blending. Blending is the key. Now, I always tell my students, even in the academy, blend till your wrist falls off. That's the real secret to the perfect flawless makeup. And whenever I blend the outer side of my shadow, I always make sure that I kind of go upwards and never straight or low. It's just gonna make it look more droopy. So whenever you blend out the edges of your shadow, you always want to go kind of upwards, you know, where the end of your eyebrow kind of meets with your shadow. So that's gonna already kind of give you this effect of lifted eyes. Oh my god, it's starting to get really hot in here. It's getting hot in here, so take it on your clothes. The next shadow that I'm going to be using is Beans Are White. We are going to only focus at the edge of our eye. Just to explain to you more technical name of this eye look that we're doing, it's called V-shape. So whenever you have hooded eyes and you want to give them a more lifted look and open up the eye, this is when you use a V technique. Now the reason why we call it V is because when we apply that dark shade, we kind of create a V. So I mean, this is a kind of like smudged V, but this is the way how you can focus on how you are going to apply this darker shade. So you're literally like, if you, we are going to zoom in just for you to see better. Can you see that? So I'm drawing a V on the outer corner of my eye, because what I want to do is I want to darken out all the hoodness that I have in my eyes. So that's why we create a V. So this makeup look is literally called using a V technique for hooded eyes. So following that, right now I'm just applying the color, and the brush that I'm using for it is from SOLVER again. Damn, I'm a fan. Really good for using the darker shades when you're doing smoky eyes, and it's also really good for lower lash line. It blends out very easy. And again, as I told you in the beginning, I'm focusing all the blending of the edges to go upwards. So right now, I'm just blending the edges of the shadow just to make sure that it doesn't look too, you know, structured. We need to make sure that it's all blended beautifully and kind of give you a smoky effect. And you can obviously always go back and apply more color if you want. So for me, I'm going somewhere in between dramatic and basic. Basic. No, we're never basic. So now I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Now once we're done with our outer corner, time to focus our inner corner and also add basically the beginning of our eyelid. For that, I'm going to be using pure ganache shade over here, and I am going to apply it right at the beginning of my eyelid. Another thing that I am going to do for my inner corner is also using a highlighter, and for that I'm using Becca Cosmetics Champagne Pop Highlighter, applying it right in the inner corner of my eye. And most of the times I take it also just a bit up because it opens up the eye even more. Another place where I'm applying that highlighter is also on my under my brows, just to give it a more clean and also more lifted look. And one last time, just to make sure that everything is blended together, I'm taking the first brush that I used without taking any more shadow on it, and I'm just going to go over the edges and also the area where I applied the highlighter. Now is the turn applying lashes. So let me just put my lashes on and I'll be right back. Guys, the most important thing as well for hooded eyes, if you use an extremely fluffy and heavy lashes, then it's not going to help with your hooded eyes problem. So what you want to do is that you want to use a fluffy lashes but that are less dramatic, so something like this. So you can see that this is fluffy and it's curly, but at the same time it is not too full of lashes. I used to love always applying an extremely dramatic lashes, but what I noticed is that it would make my eyes very kind of like half open, and you know, that's just not something that works for me, because I also have hooded eyes, so I always need to make sure that my eyes look more open and fresh and kind of lifted. So that's exactly what I'm trying to achieve every day of my life. Now the last steps to do are lower lash line. So the first thing that I'm going to start with, I am going to use Marc Jacobs eye pencil, and this is in shade Iced. This is is also going to help me greatly to open up my eye, give it a fresh look. The trick that I'll tell you that I personally do, I use a lot of my lip pencils as my eye pencils, because the colors that lip pencils have is just like, and the texture as well, it's just the colors that I can't really find all the time in eye pencils range. So that's what I do sometimes. Now for my lower lash line, I'm going to go back to this same freshly toasted shade that I used as my second shadow. So this is the final look, you guys, and I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you did, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And I'll see you next week.